Right, so here is a piece of what I would call top quality tat for you. This is a Steepletone Reproduction television slash radio console. I think I read online on Vintage Radio Museum that it's from around 2002. Obviously, I don't know about this one specifically. It was on eBay for 40 quid, and for that, I just had to go and get it. Basically, even though it's not old, it is just so unique, and I've never seen anything quite like it. And I suppose as well, it was maybe a bit easier to make retro TVs a few years earlier than now, because obviously CRTs are no longer made anymore. The screen technology type that these use, as I'm sure many of you will know. So to make a vintage TV in 2002 was probably easier than 2025, because with the tubes still being made, the only thing that changed over the years really was the circuitry and the cabinets. The actual technology, the CRT technology had been largely unchanged and the same since televisions first came out. The only difference is they went to colour. But apart from that, the tubes were much the same. Obviously, it would be a lot harder to recreate this look now because there's flat panel displays, so it wouldn't have a CRT. And, you know, it is a novelty item, really, although it is functional. But to put CRTs into production for something like this just isn't feasible by the big companies. But I'm made up to have this. There can't be too many of them about, and I'm sure lots of them have been binned by now anyway, because as I said, they are a novelty. And even in 2002, that would be classed as a very small screen. It's even slightly smaller than most portables at the time. So it's not unwatchable, of course, but the novelty would soon wear off, I imagine. It is crazy to think, though, like in 1950, that would be, I mean, that would be a big screen and the whole family would be sat around that, and that would be the main lounge TV. Well, not the main TV, it would be the only TV. But I have to say, obviously, it's not going to be completely accurate because it's a reproduction, and it's done well to survive, to be honest, because it's now a 23-year-old reproduction. But it's, you know, if you glanced at it, you would think it was a 50s television. And I do like the way as well it's not a tabletop model. I do like the fact it's a console design and it is a piece of furniture in itself, and you just put it in place and there you are. I can just see it now with like a vase of flowers on top or something. But yeah, so it is made by Steepletone and is a classic collector's edition reproduction. I've no idea how long these were made for or what they cost. If anyone can tell me, please do let me know. I did think for a fraction of a second when I saw it online, I thought maybe it's digital because it is a retro TV. It's made to look old. But I thought it was made to look old 23 years ago. Now it's old anyway. So it's an old TV that's made to look like a really old TV. It does still work, but it is analog, disappointingly, so I can't get any sort of signal on it. Obviously, I can connect to Freeview box. Oddly enough, it's not got a SCART socket. It's got RCA jacks on the back, which I thought was strange. Obviously, it's not strange in other places. I think a lot of American TVs have got RCA jacks instead of SCART. I think RCA was a lot more popular over there than it was here. We normally adopted to SCART, really. But yeah, I'll switch it on. As I said, it does come on. So, and I've not got the remote, unfortunately, but I'm not too bothered. I can use a universal remote. It will have just done the basic functions anyway, but there is the IR behind there for the remote. There's a power button here. So you turn that and the dial lights up straight away. But you've got to decide out of the many, many functions which one you want. So if I press TV, it will fire up the CRT. And there you go, it comes on. So that is set to the RCA jacks at the moment, which is why it said video. Yeah, and obviously it's got channel up, channel down. There's not too much I can show you without plugging a converter box in, but I've just put it in the garage at the moment and plugged it in. This is the first time I've seen it on, really, apart from a quick test. Bit of static on the speaker there. Yeah, and then if you press video, it puts it back onto that video channel. Volume up, volume down. Menu, and you can adjust various things with that. There's not really too much else to show you. I can show you the radio though, that does work and we'll tune in. So if we go to FM, the telly will shut off and the radio will start straight away. Or should.
Today,
there we go.
Open the freezer, already tasting that perfect first bite. You reach for the box.
And it sounded really muffled when I got it, and I thought, is that just because it's dead cheap? But it was actually because the bass was all the way down, so I've turned it, or the treble, so I've turned it up and it sounds a lot more clear now. It's not great reception, it doesn't pick up a wide range of channels, but it picks up a few, picks up Capital and Radio City, what I listen to, so that's alright.
Miles Smith, nice to meet.
There you go, some music. And it does go louder than I thought. When you adjust the bass and treble correctly, it doesn't sound unpleasant to listen to. It is stereo sound. So it's interesting more than anything else, and I don't know, I've not really got anywhere to put it. It'll end up going in the loft probably. But one day, hopefully, I will find somewhere to put it, and hopefully one day I will be able to sit down and watch this as a television somewhere, but I've just not got any idea where at the moment. Yeah, so then if you hit power, obviously the whole thing goes off. So obviously in the UK, analog television, in my area anyway, shut down in 2009, which is why it doesn't pick up any channels. It would have been amazing, you know, to just plug an aerial in and use this, but I can't. And to use a converter box, which is what I will do, or to plug in a VCR, which you can, you'll just have to find somewhere else to put it, I think, because putting it on top would just totally ruin the appearance of the set, in my opinion. But the radio, obviously, we've still got an analog radio in the UK. That hasn't been shut off. I think originally the date of shut off, was it 2015 in the beginning? And it kept getting pushed back and back and back. And anyway, the BBC has renewed the contract for another 10 years. So for now, analog radio is here to stay. So I can use the radio just straight away by switching it on, as I've shown you. And originally the TV would have worked like that as well. But you can't have everything, can you? Now I'm trying to move it. It's very heavy to move one-handed. It's lighter than I thought, I'll be honest, but it's still awkward. Obviously the wooden cabinet will be a lot of the weight. It is by no means a portable set. But yeah, Steepletone, still going today, making other retro things, along with them crappy suitcase record players. And that was basically confirmation to me that it was analog. It said antenna input 75 ohm. So yeah, there's the RCA jacks, left and right stereo channels, and obviously the video input. And there is your RF input, where you'd have originally just banged your aerial in, but now you'll either connect a video player or a Freeview box or whatever through the RCA jacks, or you could use a converter box and use the RF in. And obviously there's the built-in radio aerial, which is bundled up still, as it probably has been since it left the factory. But I have to say, I mean, I'm going to take the back off as well, because I can't resist to not have a look inside. I might post a picture up of the inside when I do that. But it is just so interesting. It's got a wooden back on it like they literally did in the 50s. I mean, it's the same. I mean, it could have had... I've seen models with built-in radios in the 50s. Is still original. The only thing that gives it away, seriously, from this view, is the RCA jacks. If it wasn't for that, if it was just the radio aerial and the RF in, it could be the back of a 50s television, seriously. And it certainly could be from the sides, the top, any other angle, other than the front, basically. But there you go. So that is something I never thought I would own, but I'm very pleased to. Yeah, I think it truly is very unique. So I would have preferred something from the 50s. Obviously, I like old things. I like old televisions as well. But the thing is with this as well, it is more usable because it's got the RCA and it's in colour, which obviously an older set wouldn't be. And as well, because it's 23 years old, it's no youngster by any means, but it's not got valves and tubes as well as a million resistors that will need to be replaced because it is not of that age. It's using modern technology. Well, modern technology, not considered modern anymore, but in the grand scheme of things, compared to a 50s set, this is still using modern technology. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed that little video. Thank you very much.